Good evening, this is Avalon Caravan coming to you. A question: how do you dry your gear? Over the last sort of day or two, we've had nothing but rain. There's no way of drying stuff. And to be honest, yesterday I was out from, I would say, 8 in the morning right through till about 3 in the afternoon, beating. Wearing waterproof smock, wearing Ridgeline, one of their older ones though. I've had to reproof it a couple of times. Some sort of Dunlop trousers, which are great for not getting damaged. My feet were fine. I use Brandicos. They're the Servo Rossos. Absolutely waterproof, brilliant things. The issue starts though because yesterday it was just so wet for so long with driving wind. It doesn't as such get through the coat, but it soaks into it. You get a couple of wet patches where you haven't proofed it properly. The base of the back, it got me, and a little bit around my neck by my shoulders. The problem is the trousers. It literally, they were so wet, it was running down the insides. The knock-on effect for that then is it goes down underneath your gaiters and inside your boots. Now, they're not waterproof on the inside, so they've soaked it up in there. So I've now got to dry them before Friday somehow. Now, I've ordered myself a boot dry because I think that's going to be worth its weight in gold. Living out here in the countryside, even your normal shoes, your trainers, gloves, socks, anything, I'll be able to dry them on that. It's only small. It's only a small wattage, I think. I don't know what it is exactly. It's going to dry slow. It'll also allow me to put the wax properly on the boots so they're warm when I'm putting it in, so it actually soaks into the leather better. There are other boots out there. I love the Brandicos ones, I've got to admit. They're not the cheapest on the market by any stretch of the imagination, but they do the job. There are other good ones out there everybody swears by, the Mandels, Dover Extremes. The Deditos are very good as well. There are brands out there which, just bubbling under there that, could be a great boot. You've got people like, Red Setter, the Alan Payne ones, Hair Killer, some people like, some people don't. Their clothes are great, but I've heard iffy reports, to be fair, about their boots. But cut a long story short, I've now got to dry them, so it's cost me another 20 odd quid to buy this dryer to try and get them dried for Friday when I'm back out in the countryside again. And it's forecast rain every day, including Friday. Hello, Loki. This is Loki, by the way. Hello, Loki. There you go. Lie down, boy. Anyway, so, I was just wondering with you guys, how do you do it? I've had recommendations. I've tried it outside for 2 days. They're just nearly as wet as when they would come in. You can't bring them into the caravan to dry. You'll end up with moisture everywhere, and that's a caravan dweller's absolute nightmare. You just end up with mildew everywhere. Everything's damp. It starts to smell. You name it, it starts causing problems. I can't, I've only got a little Carver sort of inbuilt heater. Having a wood burner is my goal, but at the moment that's not feasible. For one or two reasons. I've got to work things out with the farmer about that and my land and the land. So how do you do it? I've had people say, build a little shed and put something like an old waste oil burner, or, try, using one of these paraffin several day frost deterrent ones that you put in your greenhouse. Try that. But the thought of leaving something like that long term with my my expensive gear in it, to be fair, it's not cheap stuff. The jackets, you're looking at 100 odd quid a time. Yes, it's cheap compared to some, but for me that's a lot of money to invest. But I like to invest where I think it'll do the job properly. Like the boots, yes, they're about 330 quid. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money. But now I'm on my 3rd year of using them whilst beating, not a problem. This is the first time they've ever got damp inside, and it wasn't the boots' fault. It was my fault for wearing the wrong gear that actually ran into them. It's not something I really want to do. I'm looking at some decent sort of over trousers, probably the Hogs ones, because they're relatively good price at about 40 odd quid for a waterproof over trouser that's pretty tough as well. So yeah, I'm hoping to go out and have a look at another smock as well, because that's showing its age now. So I'm looking at something like the Ridgeline Classic, or again the Hogs one, possibly Percussion. All good brands of outdoor clothing. So if anybody's sort of, whether into caravanning, walking in the countryside, prepping, whatever, get yourself some good outdoor gear. You know, that's first and foremost. Things that are going to last, things that are going to keep you dry and warm. Coat-wise, normally in winter, if it's really cold and bad, I have a Deer Hunter. The Deer Hunter Mouflon, which is, and I got the matching trousers to that. Can't fault them, you know. If anything, they're too hot. Unless you're sat still, you know, like I do if I go hunting or whatever, you are going to cook in them if you're walking a long way. So if you perpetually walking, don't buy something like that. Brilliant for what they're made for, which is sitting still, to be fair, waiting. So, yeah, I'm going for a smock, you know, there's less things where the water can get in. You know, you only have a little zip, it's not all the way down. You tend to have things like waterproof pocket zips. You know, they're sealed zips, so they've got like a tape around them to stop water getting into them. So let's see how we go. If you have any ideas of how to keep dry, brilliant, let me know. And if you have any good ideas how to dry your clothes when you're living in somewhere like this, again, you know, put a comment down there, message me, whatever. But like and subscribe, and just send me a message of how you do it, or send me, you know, basically just comment on the bottom of the video to see how you do it and what you use, what equipment you use, what brands you use. I have my favorites, like I said. I like Brand de Cosse, I like Ridgeline, I like Deer Hunter. They're my favorite go-to bad weather clothing. But I like to see what other people are using and tested in real time. You know, you can read all the reviews you want, but half these reviews in magazines of everything, whether that's knives or hammers or axes or clothing, they're sponsored. I used to work in sort of corporate hi-fi, specialist hi-fi companies, and I remember a magazine causing chaos with the dealers because they were all told what was going to win the award. So they bought appropriately, ready for it to sell on. Surprise, surprise, a company bought a double spread and front cover for their amplifier, and suddenly that one won. Not a conspiracy theorist, I aren't, but it upsets a lot of people because a lot of people invested a lot of money in the one that was supposed to have won that suddenly didn't. I mean, there's a lot of things in life like that. Like I said, you know, your knives, there's sponsorship out there for everything. There's sponsored advertising. People, you know, sell their souls for a bit of a freebie sometimes, or for, you know, something special or a bit of a discount or whatever. But, you know, I like to hear it from you guys, really, that have got first-hand experience of using the equipment. You know, the pros and cons. You know, is it going to be waterproof properly? You know, I mean, a lot of these things say, oh, it's 100% waterproof. Yeah, for maybe a few minutes, you know, but when you're out there for, I don't know, 6 hours in pouring rain, is it going to hold that out? That's what I need to know. Also, how are you going to dry afterwards? Anyway, have a good rest of your evening and stay safe. Let's have a long caravan. Bye.